your true voice. Find your true voice. And basically, we use, of all things, we use podcasting as a template in that book. So the idea is to actually take those incremental steps. Notice where you are not being you. Notice, and be really kind and compassionate and affectionate with yourself. And really get that there's capacity to speak your true voice and to speak it openly, and that people are very eager to hear who you really are. Like, you start getting the feedback loop that people are very interested in your authentic self. And we all can tell when people are being inauthentic. We tend to be fairly forgiving of people who are inauthentic, and we're not really focused on our own need to be authentic and genuine and honest. And we think that that's frightening to do that because we're afraid that we're going to be dismissed or cause problems. And instead, when we're genuine, open, and honest and authentic with ourselves, we cause less problems. It becomes much easier to be ourselves when we're being ourselves. If we keep thinking about what it would be like, who we have to be in order to protect ourselves, it takes up a lot of energy, a lot of mind work, and doesn't really work anyways, as we've already said.
Yeah, no, I will absolutely resonate that the more that with the podcasting, it's so funny how that was a piece of it, because I was like, okay, I don't know why I feel like doing a podcast. And my first one before this one was just about entrepreneurship and business, because that's what I knew. And I was like, oh, and the topic started boring me. But I got the experience of all the things in the world, watching myself on camera was the biggest one for me, was seeing that, because I'm extremely expressive. And I always thought that, again, that authentic piece, I always thought people didn't like the way that I'm expressive and the way I move. And so I would, like, when I first started, I'd sit on my hands and I couldn't talk.
Exactly.
So that leaning into that authentic piece, I love that you're saying that. It's like, nope, just the other thing I've heard you say it a couple times, is like moving the needle, or just taking those baby steps, or how do you, and maybe it's something in your book or just something you've done personally, but we have this big giant goal and then we're like, oh, that's too big. What's something that either you do personally or you help clients with, just go, no, that's actually a step towards the goal? What, how do we identify something that actually is moving the needle rather than just staying stagnant?
Rather than what is it, did you say?
Rather than just staying stagnant, because sometimes it doesn't feel like I'm taking big action. But I noticed that, like, oh, I took that one little tiny action and, oh, all of a sudden I am taking big action.
Exactly.
So how do we identify those little ones?
The little ones are just, saying something you've never said before, doing something you've never done before, or even thinking things you've never thought before, and then actually taking action along those lines. So taking people in your inner circle and telling them that you love them, or telling them a story about yourself, or telling them something that up until now you have thought isn't appropriate or doesn't fit the relationship you have with them. So just cracking through new ice, like actually taking on new boundaries and moving them forward a little bit, can be really helpful in giving us the experience of self-expressing in ways, in new ways. And it tends, like you said, to activate. It is addicting in its own right.